JG with a new edition of Tuesday's News Pills. Please do like, share and subscribe to my channel. Today's headline number 1. Apple's App Store goes on trial in threat to walled garden. Apple faces one of its most serious legal threats in recent years. A trial that threatens to upend its iron control over its App Store, which brings in billions of dollars each year while feeding more than 1.6 billion iPhones, iPads, and other devices. The federal court case is being brought by Epic Games, maker of the popular video game Fortnite. Epic charges that Apple has transformed a once tiny digital storefront into an illegal monopoly that squeezes mobile apps. Apple takes a commission of 15% to 30% on purchases made within apps. Apple denies Epic's charge. Privately held Epic is punny by comparison, with an estimated market value of $30 billion. Its aspirations to get bigger hinge in part on its plan to offer an alternative app store on the iPhone. The trial is expected to last most of May, with a decision to come in the ensuing weeks. Headline 2. US to launch trade talks on COVID-19 vaccine distribution. The United States top trade negotiator will begin talks with the World Trade Organization on ways to overcome intellectual property issues that are keeping critically needed COVID-19 vaccines from being more widely distributed worldwide. Two White House officials said on Sunday. The effort of the White House to waive patent rules for the vaccines will enable poorer countries to produce their own generic version of the shots and vaccinate their population. Meanwhile, United States has already sent India enough of the raw materials it needs to make 20 million vaccine doses immediately. India is battling a deadly new surge in coronavirus infections and deaths. Headline 3. SpaceX returns 4 astronauts to Earth, rare night splashdown. SpaceX safely returned 4 astronauts from the International Space Station on Sunday, making the first US crew splashdown in darkness since the Apollo 8 moonshot. The Dragon capsule parachuted into the Gulf of Mexico off the coast of Panama City, Florida, just before 3 a.m., ending the second astronaut flight for Elon Musk's company. It was an express trip home, lasting just 6.5 hours. The astronauts, 3 American and 1 Japanese, flew back in the same capsule named Resilience, in which they launched from NASA's Kennedy Space Center in November. We welcome you back to planet Earth and thanks for flying SpaceX. SpaceX Mission Control radioed moments after splashdown. For those of you enrolled in our frequent flyer program, you have earned 68 million miles on this voyage. You will take those miles, said spacecraft Commander Mike Hopkins. Are they transferable? SpaceX replied that the astronauts would have to check with the company's marketing department. Headline 4. Disneyland reopening marks California's COVID-19 turnaround. Disneyland swung open its gates to cheering visitors, donning sequined Minnie Mouse ears and snapping selfies Friday marking a dramatic turnaround in a state so overwhelmed with coronavirus cases just 4 months ago that patients were being treated in outdoor tents. California's world famous theme park, which reopened after an unprecedented 13-month closure, is admitting only state residents and operating under a limited capacity for now. Once inside, guests decked in Disney gear waved excitedly at employees tidying up the park's hallmark Main Street, which was lined with hand sanitizing stations and signs reminding people to wear face coverings. After spending the year mostly teaching her third grade class from a tent in her backyard, Libby Birmingham was thrilled to be there. The 38-year-old who attended the park regularly before the pandemic with an annual pass took the day off work to make the trip down from Pasadena with friends. Headline 5. Tech giants' earnings showed their absolute dominance. The tech industry is really two industries. There are the five giants, which operate at an almost unimaginable scale, and then there is everybody else. Alphabet, Amazon, Apple, Facebook, and Microsoft all reported March quarter earnings this week. And some of the numbers that came out showed how dominant they are. In many cases, relatively small business units buried within the giants are generating more revenue than entire big name tech companies. For instance, Google's YouTube is on track to generate as much revenue this year as Netflix, once dubbed a peer in the collection of FANG stocks. Amazon's advertising business is accelerating and generated close to $7 billion during the quarter. That is nearly 7 times as much as Twitter. But it is barely noticeable against Amazon's total quarterly revenue of over $108 billion. Microsoft LinkedIn has booked more than $3 billion in ad revenue during the last year, which is more than the entirety of Snap or Pinterest. But that is a drop in the bucket for Microsoft, which has booked over $121 billion in the last 9 months alone. Apple's gadget business, dubbed wearables, home, and accessories, booked more than $7.8 billion in the quarter ended March 31st. That's more than HP's laptop business generated in its quarter ended January 31st. Yet, it accounted for only 8.7% of Apple's overall sales. Apple's iPhone business, meanwhile, has generated more revenues than all of Microsoft, as has been the case for years. Facebook reveals that 2.7 billion people use one of its apps every day, and 3.4 billion people use them at least once a month, making it equal in scale to these other giants, even if it is the only one with a market cap still under $1 trillion. According to Bloomberg, Instagram generated $20 billion in ad revenue in 2019. That is all for today. Thank you and goodbye for now. See you in my next episode.